Hello and welcome, this is Bulldog Gaming, and today we're continuing with our farming system. In the last episode we've done the inventory so you can actually collect and pick up the items that you wanted to. You can actually pick up the trees and plant the separate trees. There is any separate trees, yeah there is. So you can click on this tree, press E and it'll plant that tree, click on this one, press E and it'll plant that tree. And they grow up. Once they grow up, there's still a couple of bugs in there, but we will fix them over time. Once they get to fully grown, for some reason that's got a weird texture to it, but we can sort that out. You walk into it and it will destroy it. And we are going to be sorting out the drop system, so it will drop an item on spawn. So once you delete the tree, it will spawn an item and a log. Right, okay. So if we go to the master seed, which should be in your folder farming, and click the master seed, the first thing that we need to do is that obviously once this, what the game is doing, or what the code is doing, is once we collect one of these and we place it down, we can pick it straight up. We shouldn't be able to do that. That should be classed as a planted tree. So obviously on begin overlaps, when we come to plant the tree, we need to be telling the code that the tree has been planted. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is create a variable, only a Boolean variable. So we're going to create a variable and it's going to be planted ? Okay, and what we're going to do, we're going to set this. So we're going to set this as planted. Okay, so that is going to tell us that this particular item, once we have clicked it, it has now been planted. Then above this we've got event actor begin overlap. Now what we're doing, we're checking to see if the pickup item interaction interface is attached to that item. If that's true, then we're going off to see that we don't want this item and this item to be the same. We want this to be false. Okay, so we don't want it to be another class. So for example, this is the ground. Yeah, this is the ground. The one with the interface is the master seed. We do not want two of the same master seeds interacting with each other, hence the reason why we come here as false. Okay, but what we need to do with that boolean we just made, we need to pull out planted and put it into a branch. Okay, so from true to false to true. Okay, so if this planted here is false, then we want to pick it up. If it's true that it's planted, we don't want to do anything at the moment. Okay, so this will stop us be able to pick them trees up. So we go in, we pick a tree up, we click on the tree, we plant it, and we can't pick this tree up. Okay, we can pick these trees up, but we cannot pick these trees up. Okay, so that stops us from picking up planted trees. So once they're fingered, you press E. Sorry, not E. You click the left mouse button. It will, for some reason, the stump's got a weird texture to it. Analog. So what we want to do now is, there you go, and it will spawn that, and then after a while, yeah, so now what we want to do, we want to be able to pick up that log in our inventory. Okay, so the next section that we need to do is obviously once this has dropped its item, we want to be able to pick an item up. Okay, so yeah, if this is all false, true, we get into the pickup item. Okay, so this pickup item is for the stuff that's laying on the ground. Yeah, not the stuff that you spawn from deleting pieces of, like deleting the trees and knocking the trees down. They're for the items that are found laying around spawned. Okay, so the next step that we want to do, so we need to go into our, I believe it's a destroyed tree function. So what we're pretty much saying here is once the tree is destroyed, we want to set the static mesh to the tree stump mesh, and then we want to get the relative information of where that tree trunk needs to spawn. Then it's telling us that the tree has been cut down, and then we want to spawn a BP. Now, we want to pull out of here, yeah, and create this as a class. So we want to create this as a variable, okay, and we want to name this as, let me just move my phone out of the way, item to drop once harvest. Okay, so now this is going to spawn. This item here is going to spawn once it's harvest. Okay, so we're going to control that, and we're going to save that, and we're going to go back to here. Now, what we want to do is the cherry trees here. We want the master seed. We want to create 2 child blueprints. Oh, yeah, 2 child blueprints. Rename this to, let's say, cherry tree log. Okay. Then duplicate again. Nope. Create child blueprint and call it oak tree log. Okay, and what we want to do is quickly put back into the master seed and make this spawn. Yeah. So you'll be able to change, instant editable, we'll be able to change it in the master seed. So down here, item to log to spawn, and we'll pick it here, okay? So if we open up, for example, cherry tree, okay? So this is the cherry tree log. Now we want to add the mesh as a log, okay? So let's just quickly put log. And there you go. For example, it's going to spawn that. Yeah, go back to the cherry tree itself. Right, so first stage, it doesn't need any. Okay, you can make a separate stage for this, but it's not going to use any of this. It's just literally going to be a master seed. Here is cherry tree, cherry drop, cherry tree drop. Did I spell cherry wrong? Yeah, cherry tree log. Okay, and we're going to tick that it's fully grown. Okay, and it's been cut down. We're going to need an icon for this. So for example, now we're just going to use this icon. The stack size is what it can stack to, and if it's planted, we're not going to say that because it hasn't been planted. Okay, and then the item to drop once harvest is obviously cherry tree. Right, so this is where we do not need this destroy tree anymore. Okay, we're going to delete that off the third person character. We're going to start attaching it to the plant tree, which is the interact button. Okay, because obviously we want the interact to be able to chop. We're going to want the interact button to do something, and then we're going to want the left mouse button, which is the chop button, to do something. Okay, so this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. So we're going to slide this down here, and we're going to grab this whole box, and we're going to drag it down just to give us a little bit of room. Okay, so there we go. Right, so out of the input action, get overlap actor, we've got this. Right, we're getting a for each loop for us to be able to plant a tree. Okay, and the current stack size needs to go in. For some reason why they're not in there. Right, and then obviously we're going to go off and plant tree. Okay, but what we're going to want to do is jump off these pins once more. Okay, so if you are following the series, you'll have these pins. We want to pull off these pins once more. Okay, so out of the for each loop break, we're gonna want to pull up. Yeah, see, we haven't that far ahead just yet. Okay, right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of preparation for the next video, okay, because I can't break this up without it not making the section that I'm building work. Yeah, so the first thing that we need to do is get the left mouse, oh, come on John, left mouse button. Okay, And the next thing that we want to do is create a variable in our third person character to check to see if we're holding, okay, this is for next video, yeah, holding a shovel. It's going to be a boolean. We're going to bring it up here. We're going to drag off and put a branch, okay, from the press straight into the execution pin. Now from the true we're going to hit a delay node, okay. This is, so if we're holding a shovel, this is what we want to delay to, okay. So we're going to literally put that as a second. This is for the digging ground that you would have saw in the previous episode. So I'm going to pull out here and get a reroute node, and I'm going to also get one here as well, reroute node, because we haven't actually built this particular one yet, but we just want to literally put a delay in there. The next thing we want to do is come out of true and get another branch. Add another variable, and this variable is going to be free hands, okay? So free hands. So if we have free hands, the character has free hands, then we're going to want to do something, okay? So it's doing the checks for us, okay? So obviously out of false, we're going to put a print string here because we haven't built it yet, and it's going to be called plant seed. Okay, and then we're going to put a print string here and call this dig ground and plug that into there. Okay, but if it's false that both of these are false, which they will be, because obviously we're not going to have free hands on or off yet, if it comes out of false, we want to get a for each loop again. Okay, so if it comes out of false, we want to get a for each loop with break. The array is going to get overlapping, oh my god, get overlapping actors, okay, and I'm pretty sure we would have made, oh no, master seed, so the class is master seed. Okay, then out of here obviously does implement interface, and then we're going to check the interface for farming, which I don't think we've, oh, we have made it, right, there we go, straight into a branch, to loop body, okay, and then that's going to go straight into destroy tree, but you're going to have to pull it from the array element here, so destroy tree message, and the player is going to be self. Okay, so that's what we need. That is the little bit of code that we need to connect these together, and they will connect together because they connect together out of the complete, I believe. No, they don't. Yeah, so this is like one big blueprint. They do connect together, but in the next couple of episodes you'll see it come out of the complete. But for now, this is how we're doing it. So I'm back after a few days. Well, it's not a few days, more like a couple of weeks. I've been super busy at work. I'm just having a little mess about with this. The reason why it wasn't working. There are a couple of things that you do need to do that I've done off camera, but I'll walk through them with you now. Go to the master seed. Go to the event graph. Go to this function here, which is the on component begin overlap. Okay. We need to add this, so we need to add a cut down, which you should have. If you do not have this variable, then add this variable. So you get cut down to branch, and then we're going to put it off false. So if this has already been cut down, we don't want to do anything. Okay, we don't want to do anything. If it has not been cut down, then we want to false and continue. Okay, you've 100% definitely got the planted section. Now scroll all the way to the bottom of this, and you've got to add this to the end. So you've got to cast your third person character, which you should have. Pull off and get the destroy tree master seed. Okay, and connect the character to the player, leave the target itself, and then set the cut down to tick. Okay, so once So once this is finished growing, okay, we now can cut it down. Okay, at the top we're doing the check. This is already as it can't be cut down. Okay, this is just a variable, well, a boolean, so we can decide whether. So if you wanted to, for example, pull out a couple of trees that you don't want to be cut down, you can tick this and say no, we don't want it cut down. Okay, so it will never ever grow. It'll just literally stay at the same position. That's why we put that in there. Okay, there's also in destroy tree. You need to go to the set static mesh and you need to right click this and promote this to a variable and call this mesh left behind once cut down. This is going to be as blank at the moment. You set that in here. So the left mesh behind, it will be a tree trunk, or it could be, for example, when we go into the farming, like when we farm crops, you can leave specific things like I don't know, straw, withered crops, anything like that. You know, we're going to leave that there. And also, what you need to do as well, we need to go to add a return node at the end of this. So don't worry about this set collision, we haven't done this yet, but this is just here. You can add this in now if you want. It's just literally to add a no collision to the box, and then you add this to a return node. So the two things that you need to do is you need to go into the cherry tree log, the drop, and the oak tree log, the drop. You need to pull in this information. So the mesh left behind once cut down is going to be a tree trunk. Okay, the item, this is for the oak tree, the item to drop once harvest is going to be the, that's wrong for me, which is going to be the oak tree log. Okay, and then we can compile that, we can save that. The cherry tree is going to be the cherry tree and the tree stump. Okay, the icons, at the moment I haven't got any icons, so I'm just using different icons so you can tell which one that I'm picking up completely different icons. Okay, on the cherry tree log, make sure that the item class is cherry tree log. Same with the oak tree. The oak tree is cherry tree log, and is fully grown. The answer is true. Okay, so because obviously we don't want this to start growing, yeah, we want this to tick as fully grown, the same as cherry tree log. Go into your oak tree at the top, or bring it in on your farming folder here. Okay, go to your oak tree, go to the oak tree itself, and we need to make sure that we've made this tree mesh. We need to make sure that the item to drop once harvest is oak tree log. Okay, and we also need to make sure that the item class is oak tree. Same on a cherry tree. You need to make sure that these are all completed. The mesh left behind to cut down here is Stump. I'm sure I've done that a few times, but for some reason it doesn't save, so I'm going to compile. Right, so I think I figured it out. So in a destroy tree, what we was doing, we was trying to spawn the actor, which was messing up with the box collisions and things like that. So what I've done, I've actually got rid of the spawn actor. We do not need this no more. And from the cut down, I pulled off the blueprint third person character and got add item to inventory. Okay, it's actually better than the one we've got currently on my template anyway. So obviously the target is the third person character. The item class is still going to be the item to drop, so it's still either going to drop the cherry tree or the oak tree log. Okay, we had to create another variable, so we right clicked on the item icon and I set this as to item resource pickup texture. Okay, the reason why we still want the item to drop harvest, because obviously if we still want to drop it to someone or a multiplayer, we want to drop the log rather than the tree. Yeah, and then obviously the resource stack, so how many stack, so obviously when you harvest a tree, how much wood do you want to get out of a tree? So that's what we've done there. So we connected them up, blah 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 blah, we compiled, we saved, we went to oak tree, went into oak tree, and down here we've now got mesh left behind once we've now got item resource pickup texture, because we instant editable these, yeah. Okay, they're both supposed to be instant editable. Right, so we've got the item resource pickup texture, and we've got the resource stack. Okay, so when we go into oak tree now, we have got, I've got to do it again, but we've got the item resource pickup texture for oak tree. So we're just going to put this one, for example, the bricks, and we'll put it as 1 because at the minute we ain't got a stacking system. Well, we have, but the numbers don't go up. And on cherry tree, we want, let's just write in cherry, we'll have this one and stack 1. Okay, still keep it to the item to drop once harvest is cherry tree log. Still keep it to that. Compile, save, play. Okay, so now when I pick up the oak tree and I pick up the cherry tree, I place the oak tree down, I place the cherry tree down. Okay, we're gonna let them grow, and then we're gonna I'm gonna show you how it works. Okay, so once they're all grown up and they're all ready to be cut down, we cut it down and it spawns the log in our inventory. Yeah, we come over to this tree and it spawns that log into our inventory. Okay, now if we click on these and press E, we can spawn the log on the ground. Okay, we can't pick it back up again, but we can spawn the log on the ground if we wish to. Yeah, that can be, you know, that we don't need to do that. We can disable that, but you can do. And obviously you've got the logs, the tree stumps there that that will yes, say there's a tree there. But I want these to disappear over a certain amount of time. So if I go back into the master seed, and right at the end here, we want to create a bit of a function. Okay, and the function is going to be the stump. So hang on a minute, let me see if I can find it on here somewhere. I can't remember where I actually clicked it. Is it actually a... It is not. So on the master seed, when you destroy a tree, what are we doing at the end here? We create a custom event. So on destroy a tree, between here and here, we're going to create a custom event. So we're going to go into event graft, find a bit of space where everything else is. Under here, we're going to create a custom event. Okay, and it's literally just going to be a simple one. It doesn't need to be anything complicated. So tree, trunk, delay. Okay, and then off here we're just going to get a delay, and we're going to say 10 seconds. I think it's fair. And then after 10 seconds we're going to destroy actor. Okay, so that's going to destroy everything in this whole scene. So this master seed, everything's going to be gone. Okay, so this specific, if it's an oak tree, it's all going to be gone. And then if we go into destroy tree, and then what we do, we just literally right click tree, trunk decay, and we add it to here. Okay, so after 10 seconds, once that tree trunk has spawned, we will show you. Oh god, a little bit of lag. Hello. Thank you. We're gonna spawn this one, and then give it a couple of seconds. We're gonna spawn this one, so you can see both of them working. We're gonna cut this one down. Gives us the log, and gives us a stump. We're gonna cut this one down. Gives us the log, and gives us a stump. This one's going to disappear, and then this one's going to disappear. As simple and as easy as that. So for this episode, that's this part done. In the next episode, we're going to create the grid, which will spawn a grid of plateaus, so you can plant anywhere. Instead of having a one here, we're going to have loads of them, so we can plant individual plants. I will explain more in the next episode. But on that bombshell, thank you so much for watching. This is Bulldog Games. I know it's been a long while since you've had one of these videos, but the next one should be out in the next couple of days, and we can continue with this series. Once again, I'm very sorry because I'm very sorry. I've been very, very busy at work, and also please like and subscribe. Much love, and we'll see you soon.